born. What am I thinking? We have LSU's freight train of O-line pain in the house. Emery Jones himself. Thank you so much for your time, Emery, for joining us. It's incredible to have you on the show. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, first of all. But I'm doing great, man. Couldn't be better.
Of course, of course. This has been long in the making. I mean, but Emery, how was this is your second spring and summer at LSU. How was this spring and summer compared to the last, and how do you feel everything went this spring and summer?
Well, this is actually my first spring, so I was kind of just going through it, just trying to figure everything out.
That's
And
true.
yeah, man, I had nothing but fun. All the coaching that I was able to get during the spring from Coach Davis and Coach Steve DeMayo, Coach Muck, it was just I loved it. I feel like I got way better at football, way better at understanding the game, understanding coverages, things like that. So it was a great time.
I mean, yesterday you were running a camp. I believe it was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
For elementary school age kids, your alma mater, Catholic High. How did that get organized, and how did that go?
So my O-line coach at Catholic texted me and told me that they're holding this little camp for third through sixth graders, and he told me he would like me to attend, just come out, show the kids some love and just kind of give back. So I took the opportunity and ran with it. A couple of my other teammates who played with me when I was at Catholic came out, and it was just a great time. We got to do a couple of things out there, and just had a great time playing with the kids and being around them. Giving them game about football and just having fun out there.
I mean, you've been a lot. You've been out a lot in the community. I believe you went to some elementary schools. I mean, you've been trying to do a lot of community service and trying to make a difference in the Baton Rouge area. I mean, are you mindful of the legacy you're leaving behind right now, Emery?
I'm kind of living in the moment. I just kind of always kind of try to stick to my values and stick to things that my mom has told me coming along the way. And one of her big things was always giving back and sharing what you know. She's always wanted me to give back, and she always told me since I was young, when you get up, when you get a little success, never forget about where you came from. Never forget about somebody who may have talked to you while you were younger and kind of gave you the extra push to get you to where you are. So I kind of live by that and always want to give back and leave my mark on whoever I can.
Well, you're doing it, and it's pretty awesome to watch. I mean, and you guys did this abroad as well. You and 10 other Tigers went to Senegal. Um, how was that trip? Can you share some of the experiences from that trip?
Yeah, the trip was amazing. I got to bond with all of my teammates, the 10 teammates that you just talked about. It was great bonding with them, and kind of getting to know people who you may have not been super close with just because you're on different sides of the ball, or you play a different position from. You may not get to talk to them every day, things like that. So that was the great part of it to me, was trying to kind of getting that bonding experience, and then it was also amazing to get to learn the African culture and how they do things in their sports and how things have to be run in Africa. So it was an all around great experience, and definitely want to do something like that again.
How many days were you guys there?
I think we were there for like 7 days, so it was a long little trip, but it was fun. We were doing stuff in and out every day. We were getting up maybe 8, 9 o'clock and doing stuff to maybe like 7, 8, and doing it again the next morning. So it was definitely fun and action packed.
Who organized this? Like, who at LSU said, "Hey, this would be a great idea."
It's My teacher was Sarah Baker, and she actually does the study abroad program at LSU. And Miss Sarah just did a great job of kind of getting us through the process and kind of helping us through everything, kind of helping us understand. And then they also had a guy who's also in the study abroad program, which his name is Samba, and he kind of was our tour guide. He does this every year and take different groups to different places and just kind of teach them the culture of those places and those sports.
Man, I was telling you, if you guys ran into trouble, just say Sadio Mane. We're friends of Sadio Mane, and everyone will let you pass. The great soccer player in Senegal who could probably run for president 100 times and be elected 100 out of 100 times. But I mean, I saw your mom posting a lot about you on social media while you were gone. How is your mom enjoying your success, seeing you go from Catholic High to freshman All SEC? SEC freshman O lineman of the week, and also you're making some money with Gordon McKernan's crew.
Yeah, she's just kind of been my backbone throughout this whole process, and before this even came to be, she was always been my backbone. So she's kind of just been keeping me humble, keeping me grounded, keeping my head on right, and kind of just telling me what I need to hear as far as staying on the right track, staying prayed up, praying, and just kind of all those type things. Just being my mom as she's always been. So she's doing great, man. She's cooking for me. She's making my meal preps every week. So I'm eating good, eating from home, and she's just been great. She's just been awesome for me.
Seriously, that you just said it. That was one of her posts. Was like, mom is already prepping to like get the food right when he gets home. Something like that. Like about getting your diet right when you get back. It was incredible. I know what it's like to live in a house with an amazing cook. We're lucky men. We're lucky men.
Yeah, for sure.
She has to be proud of your maturation. I mean, where do you get that? You act like you're 29 already. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of doing interviews and kind of just talking to different people through the process. I've been able to kind of get comfortable with doing things like this and kind of just having that conversation and being open to the people and letting the people kind of hear your story. So I just kind of got getting comfortable and getting better at it as I go.
And you have a very impressive story. I mean, has there ever been a time you have so much confidence? Like, has there ever been a time where you like doubted yourself or your abilities or like maybe even your future in football?
Uh, I wouldn't say I doubted it as far as wanting to quit or wanting to give up or things like that because I never wanted to give up on my dream or anything like that. But I would say it got tough sometimes. I feel like it's gonna get tough for anybody who plays the sports. Football is a hard, tough nosed sport. You got to battle things like injuries, battle things like getting your body to do what you want it to do. It's just a whole bunch of things that go into it. So it definitely gets tough sometimes. But I would never say I went as far as like wanting to give up or doubting myself as to thinking I wasn't able to do something because I know everything is possible through God. So that's kind of what I go by and stand by that. And just if it gets hard, put your head down, work and get through it. And that's kind of just been like the little motto that I follow, going through the process.
You just said it, Emery. There's a lot of times people will shy away from talking about religion or spirituality, stuff like that. But we don't here at LSUODYSSEY.com. You said, your faith plays a big role for you. When was that ingrained, and how did that kind of take shape, and how does your faith kind of guide you through the hard moments
Well,
and
it's kind of
good?
always, yeah, I'm sorry. It kind of always kind of played a part in my household. When I was around 6, my dad passed, and ever since then, I kind of was a little upset at first when it first happened. You ask the question like, why this happened to me? But as I got older, I kind of understand that God does everything for a reason. And He made me. Maybe my dad passing may have been my wake up calling to kind of wake up and get on my grind and give him my faith, give him the glory, just things like that, going through things like that in my life, it kind of just brought me closer to God, going through harsh moments, trying to get in Catholic and, not knowing how things are going to go that month and stuff like that. And it kind of just brought me to him, it brought me to trust him now that he's shown me that, your hard work is paying off, so I kind of always have been, look towards God with things that I do.
Well, I mean, it's pretty impressive what you've been able to do with your life, Emery. Because as you just mentioned, your father passed away. 2011 was it?
Mhm.
I mean, you were only 6. I mean, since that time, like, how has it shaped you, and who are maybe some of the men who have become father figures in a way?
Honestly, there's been a bunch of them. Going playing sports. We moved to Baton Rouge when my dad passed, so I kind of had coaches who kind of took me under their wing and saw me as like a special golden child in a way, as far as like who I was and how I worked and how I cared for the game. So they kind of always looked at me as a son, and they kind of always been trying to help me. I remember when I was younger, my mom would work, and I would have to get picked up by coach and dropped off. My mom would have me a little snack, something when I get off school to pick up and get in the car with coach. So it's just always kind of been coaches along the way who's helped me, and also just people in general. I got friends and stuff at Cali. I was lucky enough to go to Catholic High. lucky and blessed enough to go to Catholic. So I met a whole bunch of people through them. And, in Catholic, it's a big slogan, it's more than four. It's a lifetime. So with that, like, it's a brotherhood there. So I kind of felt like, people that I had there, friends that I had there, they've kind of always been there for me, and their fathers have played roles in my life as well.
Catholic High, my man. I mean, you're there and going to Catholic High. There's so many greats who went there, and you followed right in their footsteps. I mean, did did your pops get you into LSU though? Back in the day when you were really young.
My pops actually played at Plaquemine High, and he was getting recruited by Notre Dame back then in the day before he got into something. So he kind of always has been into football, but he didn't really force LSU on me. It was kind of more of like he more like watching NFL teams, and his big team was the 49ers. So that's who I rep, 49ers and Saints, and that's kind of that's kind of who I stand by.
I mean, they were just unbelievably entertaining at that time when you were growing up. I mean, same with me. I mean, I'm just a little bit older than you. I mean, that those 49ers teams just put up so many freaking points, my man.
They were amazing.
I mean, we'll get this back to football. I mean, your freshman year was special, Emery. I mean, ever since that Southern game, we just got to put this. We got to put this footage in here. Ever since this moment, where let me turn the volume down on this real quick. Actually, no. Let's have the volume here.
So long, passed away in 2014.
You go over here and you just pancake.
Well, first and goal, LSU. Oh, we got a pancake situation, Cole. You just see what happened on the pylon.
I saw it.
It might look choppy right now on the live stream, but it'll look crisp.
I don't know, 10, 15 yards away from the ball. You talk about driving your feet, finishing a block. Goodness gracious, 50 taking them to the bleachers.
Emery Jones broke the plane. Oh, he had his hands out too, just belly flopping on the end there.
Ever since that moment, do you feel like you kind of took over that right tackle spot and made it your own?
So at the time, I didn't really know how it was gonna go, and I just kind of had the thought that whenever I got my chance, I was gonna take it. So when they put me in the Southern game, I had everybody in the stands watching. Family, friends, everybody seeing me playing the first game, my first college game. And it was just really exciting. And I was really in the moment and I was locked in. And I know I had to make a couple plays to show that they can trust me. So, I gave it my all and, that happened. And then I kind of got more confidence, got more eyes on me off the team. Coaches starting to trust me a little bit more. And then Mississippi State game comes and the right guard, number 75, Anthony Bradford. Something happened and he couldn't play in the Mississippi State game. And so I got my chance and I got my shot and I was able to hold it down at right tackle. And I feel like that's when I kind of solidified my spot and solidified my trust with the coaches.
That's the thing is that Mississippi State game, you guys had a huge part in that comeback. Mm-hmm. The running game just wore Mississippi State down late in that game. But like, what went through your mind before that game when you got the call up to start as a freshman?
So I got it late in the week. I didn't know I was starting until I think that Thursday or that Wednesday, going into the game. And Friday, we stay in a hotel. So I was really excited, and when I found out that I was starting, I called my mom, called my uncle, Papa, and just kind of told them the news. I was like, be at the game early. I'm gonna be on the field when we kick off. And it was just kind of like, when I got on that field, I was gonna make my mark and hold my ground. So. And that's what I feel like that's what I did.
You definitely did because you almost played 1,000 snaps this last season, Emery. I mean, was this ever entering your mind that you'd play nearly 1,000 snaps in year one?
No, never actually. I mean, I know I wanted to come in and play a part on getting this O line back together, and that's what me and Coach Davis would always talk about. Come in and focus, because you're gonna get your chance. So. It was always like, stay ready, so I don't got to get ready. And, I just tried to stay ready.
You just mentioned him. The man himself, Coach Brad Davis, he put his faith in both you and freshman Will Campbell, fellow freshman, to start and bookend LSU's offensive line. I don't know too many O-line coaches who would have been brave or smart enough to do that. And in your view, what makes him one of, if not the best offensive line coaches in America?
Just his ability to coach us and get his point across. I feel like every time he coaches us, we know exactly what he's coaching. We know exactly what he wants us to do. And I feel like from that point, it's just us doing it, us working on those little tweaks in our game to get that to his standard. And that's another thing. He holds his standard really high, and I really appreciate him for that, because he's always pushing us to our limits. What we think are our limits. Sometimes he pushes us to them. And, he pushes us past and through them so that we can reach higher goals and higher levels. He told us he wanted to win the Joe Moore Award, and he put that on the board last season. And he said he's keeping it up until we get it done. So, that's what we're striving for this year, Joe Moore Award. He had another thing he wanted to do, develop some All-Americans, and he did that last year too. So, we're just kind of putting our faith in him. And I feel like everybody in that O-line room believes in him, believes in what he's talking about. And, so we're going to go win that award for him.
How has Coach Davis evolved from year 1 to year 2, from what you've seen? I mean, I know he's gonna still be gunning for that Joe Moore Award, but have you seen it? He's a very consistent dude. But have you seen any changes?
He's pushing us way harder this year, and not even saying from a physical aspect of running in, doing the extra push-ups, stuff like that, but from a mental standpoint of the game. He's teaching the young guys to read safeties and stuff like that. He's just teaching new levels of the game that previously we didn't know, and kind of just we're trying to limit these mistakes that we made last year. So we kind of been watching every game from last season and just kind of looking at run game, pass game, where could we be better, what could we have done right here to make that split-second decision to where we would have known to make this call, that call, and things like that. So he's just been kind of getting everybody as sharp as he can from a mental aspect of the game.
Were you taken back, Emery, by how violent the SEC trenches can be?
Yeah, man, it was fun, honestly, and it's everything that I expected. It's big, strong, fast guys who's twitchy and can move, and it's just a whole bunch of technique, and it's a whole bunch of who got more dog in them. So we had fun this year. It was really fun getting my feet wet. I'm gonna come in this year with even more chip on my shoulder and even more power behind everything I do. We're gonna try to go win that Joe Moore Award and win a national championship.
And you'd be, LSU did this just barely 4 years ago. So, I mean, there's precedence to this, but Brad Davis has come in with a whole new vibe, new passion, new attitude, and really he's developing you guys at a far better rate than what was going on before. Let's just call it like it is. But you just mentioned it. And I was going to ask you this as well, Emery. I mean, what was the toughest game or the toughest guy to block for you as a freshman?
Honestly, I'm gonna give it to Georgia. Georgia was definitely one of the toughest games for us, but I also would say that because it was the SEC championship game and we were losing. So I mean, our hopes and our little fire, we didn't have it in that game. So I feel like that was one of the tougher games that I had last year.
I was there. I was there for that game in Atlanta, and you guys still showed a ton of fight in that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had two receivers who had 130 plus receiving yards. Booty and Malik went off. We just couldn't run the football. But other than that, both quarterbacks, I think, were in touching distance of 300 yards. So it was just a lot of missed opportunities in that game. I feel with the field goal block and the miscommunication there and just some of those things. It was just a little bit of just a few missed opportunities. Georgia, I don't feel played. I know they put up 50 points, and it's kind of crazy to say this, and they were very opportunistic in that game, but I feel like they kind of got away with one there. Had you guys been on 100% on your game in an Alabama mindset or something that day, a Florida mindset, who knows?
Right. I believe that too, and I feel like everybody on our team believes that we can go back this year and beat them and beat anybody else who lines up across from us. So I feel confident. I know the boys behind me feel confident too.
Oh, God. I mean, if you look at it, Harold Perkins still had a strip sack. We were still, putting it all over their DBs. There was some really intriguing things that were going on. It just wasn't enough. But, when was it during this last season, Emery, where you just felt like everything just clicked as far as the offensive line play?
Honestly, it might have took to the last game, Purdue game, where I feel like all five of us were having a game. Like all five of us across the board were having one of the best games we had all season. And I felt like we all felt that. After Georgia game, we were kind of down, but I felt like nobody gave up. Like you said, we had a whole bunch of more fight in us, and we went hard those weeks preparing for Purdue. And when we got on the field, I felt like we had put everything together and we had all the pieces that we needed to kind of push forward and push through anybody. And I feel like that Purdue game really gave everybody a whole bunch of confidence when it came to like kind of believing in everybody and believing what everybody can really do. And I just feel like, yeah, we were flying around, hitting people, having fun.
Of course. I mean, putting 60 points up on a team like that, I mean, everybody was just, like you said, having fun playing. I mean, you had Quad, Frank Wilson's son, getting a pick six. I mean, it was just it was just crazy. But we have to put this on, Emery. Your tackle in space on a punt return. This is versus Mississippi State. Once again, so I apologize for the volume. This is just crazy. He's got a ton of room, and he shall not pass. And then you celebrate it like crazy. You feel like this is another catalyst play that kind of, really helped you seal that starting job?
Yeah, most definitely. Actually, after this week, I got took off punts, and I was kind of upset about it. I was like, "Dang, y'all take me off after I get a tackle." But I feel like this did. I feel like this got the eyes on me for sure from the coaching staff. I feel like they really saw that, how athletic I could be, and how much value I could have brought to the team last year. And that's really was my main goal, was to try to prove that to them from the start, from the get go. And the celebration, it was a lit moment at that time. I was very excited. Yeah, it was just an exciting moment for me. That Thursday before the game, when I found out I was starting, I was talking to my friends on the video game, and I was like, "Y'all, I feel like I'm gonna get a tackle. I feel like I'm gonna lay something out this week," and I saw it, and it happened. So.
Oh man, and it was in the best way possible because you probably saved a touchdown, or at least them being on the 5-yard line or something. I mean, it was impressive. It was incredible. Immediately just tweeting that out, and it's been classic footage, and it will be classic footage of yours for the rest of your career at LSU. But I mean, now we've talked enough about the last season. Last season is history. I mean, I know you guys are of that mindset that it's all about now and being in the now. I know Coach Kelly preaches that. And going into this season, you've got 4 out of 5 of your starters from last year back on the roster, but you guys were kind of beat up a bit in spring. How's the overall health of the O-line looking with guys like
everybody's looking good. We don't have any major injuries on the O-line right now. Everybody's, been in playing good. Everybody's PRing. We're getting faster, stronger by the day. So we're looking really good in that O-line room right now.
That's fantastic. And you guys got some reinforcements to help too. I mean, you got Mason Lunsford, Paul Mabanga, DJ Chester, Lance Hurd, who's going after that left tackle position, Will. So watch out. Tyree Adams, since their arrival in June, do you feel like those guys were the missing pieces to the O-line puzzle?
For sure. I feel like you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I feel like right now we don't have too many weak links right now. I feel like we're very strong in that O-line room, like I just said. And I feel like if somebody was to go down, we'll be A-okay. We'll put somebody in, we'll fill in that spot, and we'll be moving the same as we were moving before. And I feel really comfortable saying that with the guys we have in our room.
That's fantastic for the fans to hear, because we know that you guys are a younger offensive line, but I mean, people forget about Marlon Martinez, Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier, all those guys, and then you got the youth, and then we got Will Campbell, and then we got Emery Jones right here with us. So I mean, I think we're pretty loaded there. But Will Campbell, I mean, is this guy like the LSU version of Tarzan or what? Like, this guy is an absolute sultan, and you two have become quite a partnership. But there's a real friendship there.
Yeah, there is. It's real. We love each other like brothers. We actually room together right now. So, we just kind of been getting close, and it just looks like we're gonna keep getting closer and closer. And until we get our main goals, what we came here for was to, get as good as we get here, win a national championship, and then take it to the next level and, dominate on that level too. So, we're keeping our eye, definitely we're taking it day by day for sure, but, we're definitely working towards something, and we push each other in and out every day. We live together, we run together in the same group. Like we just always constantly pushing each other. And I feel like that's why we've always kind of gelled together, because we both, we understand what we want out of the whole thing.
Absolutely, and you guys have been dedicated from minute one, and it's just been very impressive to watch what you two have done. And your head coach Brian Kelly obviously trusts you guys. I mean, he's been saying at SEC Media Days something very interesting. He said you guys don't want to be a finesse running team. You guys really want to physically dominate and just punish teams, wear defenses down at the line of scrimmage. And do you think you guys were able to achieve that last season?
I feel like in points we were. I feel like clutch situation games like you mentioned earlier, Florida game. I feel like we just were able to kind of gel together later in the game and get some big runs out of it. Auburn game, I feel like we closed games out really well last year. I feel like we had spurts of it, but I feel like we were still young and we were trying to still figure it out. But this year, I feel like we can expect way more production out of it, out of the O-line room. And I feel like we're going to lead the team this year to our goal, to that national championship.
I mean, number 6 ranked in the country. It seems like we've got a lot of SEC teams running a little scared. Some uncertainty with quarterbacks at Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, the door's open right there. The opportunity's here for LSU championship. And the man who's probably going to be leading LSU, if we're going to be doing that, is Jaden Daniels. I mean, this last season, he did some special things as a rusher. Does it make your life as an offensive lineman easier or tougher blocking for a quarterback who improvises a lot?
It makes it way easier, and it's kind of fun to watch him kind of wiggle around. He's wiggling around the pocket, having fun, getting out the pocket, running for 40 yards. It's just kind of fun watching him, do what he does. And, it's always fun, and it's always, he's always constantly teaching us stuff too. He's a great leader who I feel like leads our team in a great way. He always says the right things, always in the media for the right things. And it's just a guy who, you like to have around and like to have in your locker room.
Is it just media hype, or has he really improved as a passer?
No, I feel like he's been working extremely hard and improved his game a whole bunch from last year. Kind of sitting back there looking like, I like to say, like Tom Brady, kind of sitting back there comfortable and just, throwing the ball, making the right reads, stuff like that. He's getting a lot of trust from the coaches. He's changing plays, switching the protections, things like that. So I feel like he's really going to take control of the offense this year.
I mean, that's stunning to hear. Fans, did you just hear? I mean, we just got a Tom Brady comparison with Jaden Daniels, and I mean, we can see his development as a passer, getting to that level, and where you've got him running the ball. I mean, it's going to be hard for defenses to stop us. Just a few more questions for you, Emery. I mean, you've become a leader on this O-line already as a sophomore. I mean, your sophomore season, it really hasn't even begun, and yet they're looking towards you to be an offensive line leader for guys like Tyree Adams, Lance Hurd, and some of these younger guys. Realistically, honestly, though, which one of these freshmen do you think could replicate what you and Will were able to do in year one?
Honestly, all of them are going to be, a great addition to the O-line. You got people like Lance Hurd, who's big, strong, fast, who's definitely going to get on the field and definitely make an impact. Tyree Adams, DJ Chester, Paul Mabanga, all those guys who are definitely capable of coming out, playing and getting on the field and getting active on the field. So, I feel like all of them are going to make their own type of impact in some type of way throughout the season. And I feel like they're all going to be a great help to us.
Is there any offensive lineman that you feel like is just not getting their due right now for the progress they've made?
Charles Turner. I feel like Charles is a guy who's been working extremely hard. He dealt with the injury last year. He had to get surgery on it. And he's just been, doing amazing. He's gaining in the weight room. He's getting his weight up. He's moving better. He's moving fast. He's running with the team again. Like, he's just doing all the right things. And, I think he's going about everything the right way. And he's also a guy that nobody talks about, but is probably the leader out of the O-line room He's the oldest. He's been here the longest. He knows the most ball out of all of us, and he's kind of just been taking that role as, the group leader who's going to lead the O-line to where we want to get to.
I'm so glad you said that, because we saw what the offensive line looked like without Charles Turner, and we saw what the offensive line looked like with Charles Turner.
Right.
Night and day. Night and day. And that's not against anybody, because there was a lot of crazy position shuffling, a lot of crazy things asked of people to do out of necessity. But what Charles Turner does is just something special. And like you just said, very underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
One teammate I'd like to know about is your former high school teammate, Shelton Sampson from Catholic High. How has your friend acclimated to life at LSU so far?
I think he love it. I've been talking to him, just keeping him on track, keeping his head on. He's been like having tutoring and stuff like that, and he's honestly been doing a great job. He's knocking it out the park. He's making all his tutoring appointments. He's getting the football practice. He's, doing good in the weight room. He's running fast as usual. Jumping out the gym. Like he just making his mark in his own way at LSU, and I'm excited to see where he goes with it.
Man, it's really impressive what he did at Catholic High, and it's going to be really interesting to see what he's going to do over the next few years, how he'll develop. Last question, Emery. I mean, you guys will be playing Florida State again in week 1. What is the mentality going into that rematch, and what is the number one thing you feel like you've got to work on before then?
Going into this match, I think, our whole mindset is getting into this dogfight and win it. We know Florida State has a good team, has some good guys on their roster, and we know that we have some too. And I feel like we believe that we're better than them and that we're going to, dominate them, when we play them in Orlando. And I feel like everybody on our team believes that. Everybody in the O-line room, I feel like from last year we have something to prove. When it comes to going against their D-line, they got some great guys, Jared Verse, Fabian Lovett, some top name guys who, I feel like we're going to shut down, and then we have to shut down so that we can win this game. So, we're going to put a lot of this on our shoulders. We're going to take it, and we're going to strap up so that, we can win this game. And then one thing that I feel like I have to work on is kind of just always working on my game, getting better, like at the little things, knees inside the ankle, things like staying low when I get tired, things like that you just always kind of got to work on throughout, your whole time playing the game. And I feel like, those little things, doing those little things, and, slowing down on mistakes, like things like coming out of my pass set high or something like that, working on little things like that, just to take my game to the next level.
It's going to be a crazy ride to see how you guys I can't even imagine how much better you guys can be than last season. You and Will as freshmen going into this next season, it's going to be crazy to watch you both. But really, Emery, just the way you attack the defensive lineman, the way you go about your business, you are such an impressive young man, such an impressive football player. Seriously, I'm so grateful to you for opening up about your past, about your history with us. I can only imagine the type of obstacles that you've overcome, and the type of man you have become. Because we shouldn't even call you a young man anymore. You're a man.
I appreciate you.
Emery, thank you so much for coming on, and you were always welcome. Invitation always, and good luck in going into fall camp.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, and thank y'all.
Absolutely. Emery Jones.